Descended from a great sage, Eric is mocked as a manaless failure. A rare curse blocks his power, rendering his genius mind useless. After 4 failed exams, he faces expulsion and total bloodline disgrace. The Maldinger legacy now hangs by a single, fraying thread at Ulton. Burdened by his fallen house, Eric seeks to reclaim their ancient glory. Betrayed by vassals and broken, his family's name has turned to dust. His friend Shin, a royal prodigy, brings word of a legendary lead. Shin scolds Eric's antics before revealing a secret, high-stakes mission. A search for the dragon's lair, the primal source of all magic. This mythic sanctuary could hold the cure for Eric's mana blockage. Eric laughs, knowing the true secrets hidden within dragon legends. Using years of hidden research, Eric pinpoints the lair's secret coordinates. Shin informs the director, but the old man rejects Eric's logic. Para unleashes a terrifying mana aura, yet Eric kicks the door down. Eric ruthlessly mocks the director's ignorance before the entire staff. The director sneers, challenging the bottom-tier student's mastery of theory. Eric retorts with logic that even a young child would understand. Furious, the director demands a wager for the Maldinger family heirloom. If Eric fails the expedition, his family's last treasure is lost. Eric accepts the bet, unfazed by the wizard's overwhelming intimidation. Shin is terrified, but Eric is a man of many secrets. Beyond the failure title, Eric is a hidden and terrifying monster. At 15, he brutally crushed every noble who dared insult him. He used the Empire's laws to silence the Academy's discipline council. Since that day, no student has ever dared to cross him. Eric now studies forbidden books on ancient Beast King body arts. He seeks to replace magic with pure, overwhelming physical combat mastery. These techniques vanished when the Beastmen were driven out long ago. Legends say this art grants strength that can rival the gods. Eric has mastered the technique, waiting for the moment to transform. He prepares to evolve his body, despite the unknown physical risks. On the road, the director's hired thugs block their path forward. River and his mercenaries intend to ensure Eric never returns alive. The bald director plots in shadows, craving Eric's ultimate authority. But Eric is armed with legendary, high-tier magical relics of war. Gorina's breath and the Azure Crown artifacts of devastating power. The director plots Eric's death to seize the sacred family necklace. He hopes to claim the principal's throne through this cold betrayal. Suddenly, a massive pillar of ancient mana erupts from the earth. Eric's prediction was perfect. The dragon's lair is finally revealed. In a barren wasteland, Eric commands the group to dig deep. The ground collapses into a massive, dark, underground abyss below. They descend into the dark, sensing a heavy and lethal aura. Before them stands the dragon's gate, sealed by ancient, glowing runes. A reckless fool reaches out, ignoring the deadly trap ahead. A fatal mistake triggers the ancient trap. Infernal flames erupt, forcing everyone to deploy their mana shields. Eric desperately analyzes the complex magic circle as their energy drains against the relentless, searing heat. Success! He dismantles the spell just in time, but their brief relief is instantly shattered. A lethal hail of ice spears rains down. The group frantically reinforces their barriers while Eric searches for the source. Risking everything, he summons the celestial azure armor and charges headfirst into the freezing magical storm. He saves them all, proving why he earned a perfect score in the Academy's most grueling theoretical exams. The colossal gates finally groan open, revealing a chamber filled with legendary treasures beyond their wildest dreams. Shin discovers the massive remains of a dragon king, while Eric is suddenly ambushed by the headmaster's assassins. Who could have saved them? Those cowards strike from the shadows, leaving Eric fueled by a cold, righteous fury. As they move to execute him, an arm is severed. The Dragon King's corpse begins to move, protecting the youth. Eric's mind races with a new tactical strategy, commanding everyone to establish an absolute defensive perimeter. A massive shockwave rocks the chamber. If they can hold for 20 seconds, survival is within reach. 17 seconds to the exit, but the path is blocked by a relentless tide of Spartan monsters. His family heirloom glows with an eerie light as Eric is hit by a sudden, agonizing migraine. Time itself seems to grind to a halt. He perceives every enemy movement before they even strike. Moving like a ghost, Eric carves a path through the horde and signals his comrades to follow his lead. They reach the threshold, but the clumsy student in glasses trips, falling directly into the path of the monsters. Eric leaps back into the fray to save the useless fool, barely escaping before the heavy doors seal shut. The nightmare isn't over as the monsters try to force their way out. Eric makes a choice to stay behind alone. He seals himself in to ensure the group's safety, leaving Shin screaming in despair as the gates lock. Shin rushes for help while Eric is trapped in a hellish duel fighting for his life against the darkness. Guided by the mysterious necklace, he dances through the chaos, utilizing the breath of Jenna to incinerate his foes. He spots a legendary spear embedded in the dragon's skull, realizing it is the true key to this trial. Upon touching the weapon, a vision of the past unfolds, showing a great dragon clashing with the Demon King. A single, devastating strike brought the Dragon Lord low. Eric realizes this cave is actually a sinister trap. Agony tears through his soul as the Demon King attempts to possess his body and claim his life. I will not die here. The burning desire for vengeance awakens the necklace's forbidden power. Ancient runes surround him, creating a vortex of light that begins to devour the Demon King's very essence. A mysterious dragon mark appears on Eric's hand as he encounters the spirits of the first scholars. They were seekers of the ultimate magic, until greed and demonic corruption turned the world to ruin. To atone for their sins, they chose a successor, and Eric is the one destined to inherit their legacy. He is chosen to become the world's strongest mage, the final shield against the rising demonic tide. He awakens back at the academy, finding a tearful Shin by his side, mourning his supposed death. I'm not crying. There's just dust in my eyes. Shin tries to hide his relief with a pathetic excuse. Shin notices his friend has undergone a physical transformation, standing much taller and radiating an intense pressure. Looking in the mirror, Eric sees a handsome new face forged by the Demon King's mana and dragon blood. Shin's family takes charge of the dragon's horde, but legally, everything belongs solely to Eric now. He has struck it rich beyond imagination, while the corrupt academy leaders are left with absolutely nothing. Thanks to Shin's loyalty, the villains couldn't steal a single coin, proving that a true friend is worth gold. A dark, vengeful smirk plays on Eric's lips as he envisions the downfall of the bald headmaster. That traitor will pay a bloody price for his betrayal, and even Shin can sense the coming storm. Eric instructs Shin to report that he is critically injured, setting a trap for the greedy old man. Outside the royal hospital, the headmaster panics, unable to bypass the master family's ironclad blockade. After devouring the demon lord Metatop, Eric can now see the villain's lingering, pathetic spirit. Once a king of terror, he is now just a harmless ghost forced to watch as Eric rises to absolute power. Beyond the old man's rambling, a secret emerges. The Dragon King's power is within reach. My theory is confirmed. Devouring other demons is the path to ultimate strength. A twisted smile spreads. Prepare yourselves, Demon Kings. Your reign ends very soon. Before mastering this pendant, I must test my limits. My senses are evolving. The world is crystal clear now. I can perceive everything from miles away. I feel the mana flowing. The Demon King realizes this isn't just dragon magic. Even with the royal bloodline, this kid's power is absolutely monstrous. At last, my mana blockage is cured. Traitors, prepare to pay a deadly price. You won't escape my wrath. I'm coming for every single one of you. News of my injury spreads. Vultures are circling for the dragon's treasure. While I move in the shadows, Shin's sister arrives to uncover the truth. She is Tasa, the legendary Fire Phoenix mage of the Royal Magic Tower, one of the 3 stars destined to lead the Empire. A true genius, the youngest archmage in history. If she spots my act, we're all dead. Shin tries to stall her. She's a fanatic obsessed with ancient dragon legends. She demands the excavation rights, but Shin stands firm for his friend. She leaves with a threat. Tell Eric he's dead if I don't get answers. Meanwhile, Eric begins his training, casting spells without a single word. The Demon King mocks my basic spells. He thinks this is my limit. He suspects a trick. Little does he know, I'm just getting started. I activate the dragon's mental seal. Mana surges through my entire being. Fly! With one word, gravity vanishes and I soar into the clouds. This is too high. One slip and I'm a pancake. Even the demon is shocked. A novice using mental seals and combined magic? This kid is a monster. He's basically cheating. Even the greatest archmages couldn't do this at his age. This power is incredible, but I need a master to guide my growth. The academy is compromised. There's no one left I can truly trust there. I need a legendary teacher. If only my father were still alive today. Wait, there's a powerful demon right here. Why not use him instead? Teach me. and I'll forge you a new vessel, I propose to him. He laughs. A mortal vessel? Become a demon like me, then we'll talk. He plots to corrupt my soul with forbidden arts and steal my body. He thinks he's in control, but he has no idea who he's dealing with. Shut it. One command and the mighty Demon King is instantly silenced. I force him to act cute. It's absolutely disgusting to witness. Pure mental damage. Now, write down every magic secret in this book. The training begins. After some persuasion, the demon finally submits. He's like a tamed puppy now, scribbling down ancient mental seals for me. Your handwriting is trash. I scoff. The ancient demon seethes with rage. He sneaks curses into the notes, waiting for me to fall into his trap. Months pass, yet I remain unaffected. He's completely baffled by my progress. Did you think I was stupid? I filtered out every single one of your traps. Thanks for the lessons, loser. I've reached a whole new realm of power. His plan has utterly failed. These forbidden techniques are finally mine to command. Be careful, he warns. That level of power will devour your very soul. Battlefield blood defines 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰𝑵𝑪 destiny. Honor survives their ruined lands. Father suffered silent war wounds. Mage memories filled his eyes. Parents found peace in death. Eric sought the Jedi Highlands. Magic masks his true face. He joined hunters. Demons watched. Yetis carried a dark blessing. Eric sensed hidden, ancient tombs. Demonic lairs held family secrets. Ancestors guarded a forbidden legacy. He reached Jedi that night. Thugs harassed a beautiful traveler. Her guards spared their lives. Run! Eric sensed lethal danger. Magic shields blocked deadly needles. Blood-eyed Yetis attacked in rage. Eric unleashed his true form. Frost and fire decimated monsters. Binding magic trapped every survivor. The Demon King plotted betrayal. Eric crushed the rebellion instantly. The monster led him deeper. Dragon power nearly shattered him. The lady left him behind. The leader surrendered to Eric. Legends told of mountain kings. A blue-eyed friend from 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰𝑵. Ancestors guarded this sacred home. Their home lay beneath abyss. A sanctuary sat below cliffs. Eric jumped into the void. He glided with phantom grace. He reached the ancient cottage. The necklace broke magic seals. Forbidden grimoires filled the room. He learned the bloody history. Devour demons, the voice commanded. Contain darkness within your soul. 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰𝑵𝑪. The system's architect appeared now. He devoured the Demon King. Fate's wheel decided his future. Eric vowed to surpass legends. To inherit his grandfather's legacy as a legendary mage, Eric must conquer this final, brutal trial. Ahead looms the Snow Mountain King, the legendary conqueror who first united the frozen northern tribes. Once a hero, his dark ambition consumed him, leaving only a hollow, fallen demon in its wake. This king is Eric's next prey. To transcend, he must literally devour the demon's very essence. The ancestors' command is absolute. Consume the demon to seize its stigma, the root of all power. Every demon harbors a unique dark ideology, a brand of evil etched into their very soul. This stigma is the key, much like the mark of Mephisto burning on Eric's own hand. Fueled by a sudden hunger for absolute power, Eric throws himself into the fray with reckless greed. But his path is blocked not by mere beasts, but by the king's elite, bloodthirsty guardians. These warriors are different. They radiate a terrifying, murderous intent that chills Eric to the bone. Doubting his current strength, Eric is forced to unleash the forbidden power of Mephisto's ancient stigma. A massive explosion rocks the mountain. Yet, a dual-horned beast cleaves through the smoke, wounding him. This opponent is a monster among monsters. Eric stands on the precipice of a humiliating defeat. I won't fall here, Eric roars. Suddenly, his dragon heart erupts with a violent, surging heat. With one catastrophic strike, he obliterates his foe. But pushing past his limits, nearly shatters his body. His chest burns as a new seal forms. His body is evolving, forcefully absorbing the chaotic energy. The dragon heart finally stabilizes, just as a fresh wave of demons emerges from the shadows. His ancestor reveals the secret. A demon's seal is bound to its true, hidden name. To master their power, Eric must speak their name, yet he possesses no such forbidden knowledge. Suddenly, the word malice flashes in his mind. He instinctively realizes their true, dark identity. He triggers the stigma, wiping out the demonic horde in a single, exhausting burst of spectral light. Only the king remains, but before Eric can strike, His body collapses from sheer, total fatigue. He awakens in the Demon King's manor. Mephisto confirms the first trial is technically complete. Eric isn't satisfied. He demands Mephisto's true name to unlock the stigma's full, godlike potential. Mephisto scoffs at the request. Giving up a true name is like surrendering his entire existence. A sin stigma is the pinnacle of demonic power, a crown Eric is not yet worthy to wear. You can't even control a Snow King, Mephisto taunts. The Demon King's power would incinerate you. Eric shifts his focus, asking for the Snow King's name. He is determined to devour him. Mephisto is stunned by his audacity. That king is a monster. You're walking into certain death. Eric persists, lowering his voice to plead. He's a fallen demon now. Just give me a chance. Mephisto fumes. Revealing a seal's secret means exposing the fatal weaknesses of their entire race. After a bitter bargain, Mephisto agrees on the condition Eric serves as his personal jester for 5 days. Listen well, Mephisto warns. With your current pathetic mastery, you'll never even reach the summit. To win, Eric must evolve. He must climb the hierarchy of achievement to reach the top. Seals range from common to legendary, but their true strength depends on the user's achievement stars. 2 users can hold the same seal, but a higher achievement rank changes the power entirely. Eric's Malice seal is precious, but his achievement is a measly 1-star amateur level. The Snow Mountain King is a 10-star master. Eric must bridge that impossible gap to survive. He must reach 10 stars or evolve his seal to unique rank. Eric charges back into battle. No matter how many warriors he slaughters, his rank stays stuck at 2 stars. He's hit a wall. The only way to grow is to challenge the king directly. Eric finally faces the monarch's shadow. The king's demonic aura is suffocating an ocean of darkness, threatening to swallow Eric whole. How was he this strong while alive? Eric wonders. This isn't a trial, it's an execution. Eric charges with everything he has. But in a flash, his body is brutally torn to pieces. Pain becomes his only teacher. Death after death, he edges closer, finally grasping the stigma's rhythm. The Frost Queen's malice is suffocating. Mastering a stolen seal against its original owner is a suicidal gamble. Every movement, every reflex, she is perfection. To surpass her, I must strip away everything she ever owned. Eric was being absolutely demolished. At this rate, his very ego would shatter under her relentless, icy pressure. Yet, through the blood, he smiled. The ancestor saw it not just talent, but a terrifying, unyielding obsession. With a roar of pure willpower, he finally drew blood. The queen's severed arm fell to the frozen earth. A 3-star achievement. But the queen's counterattack was a hurricane of death, leaving him no room to breathe. His mana barriers shattered like glass. Stealing her power wasn't enough. He needed something deeper, something absolute. I must become her. In that moment of clarity, a vision of the past flashed before his eyes. It was the Demon King, Melfi. He stood tall, challenging the Frost Queen to prove her worthiness. Aeons ago, a prophecy was born. These mountains were destined to fall under the rule of the Frost. I was born to be king. I will rule these eternal snows. She was the chosen one of legend. Years passed, and she united the tribes. But a small mountain throne wasn't enough for her burning ambition. She hungered for the ancient glory of the demon race. She wanted her true place among the gods. She challenged the throne, but Melfi was a wall of despair. Her strength was nothing compared to his. Defeat tasted like ash, yet she never stopped. She polished her techniques, sharpening her seal into a masterpiece. She was a step away from godhood. Recognition was within her grasp until he appeared on the battlefield. The Ancestor, a human commander with power that defied logic. He stood as her final, insurmountable wall. Her army was annihilated. The pride of the Frost tribe crumbled before the humans' overwhelming might. Driven back into the frozen wastes, her heart bled. Eric felt every ounce of her lingering sorrow. Their souls resonated. After the war, the Ancestor remained on the peaks, watching over his greatest rival. Countless duels forged an unlikely bond. They weren't just enemies, they were the only ones who understood. But ambition is a poison. She became a monster, finding her only salvation in death by his hand. You have his eyes, she whispered. The queen finally acknowledged Eric as the rightful heir to that legacy. I am a king and a warrior. I refuse to be pitied by my enemy, she declared proudly. The time had come to end this long, icy nightmare. A final atonement for her fallen people was necessary. Her sacrifices would not be in vain. The battle reached its peak, as her soul burned one last time. Demonic energy consumed her form. Eric gathered every drop of power, bracing for the ultimate collision. Boom! The world trembled. Eric's technique was a perfect mirror of her own, a dance of destiny. It was like fighting her own shadow. A strange warmth filled her heart amidst the lethal exchange. Why is he smiling? She wondered. Fighting him felt like those golden days spent dueling the ancestor. Limits were shattered. Both warriors prepared their final, devastating strikes. It was all or nothing now. The Frost Queen's ultimate art unleashed. A cataclysmic explosion rocked the entire mountain range to its core. Silence fell. Eric stood victorious. She had let go, finally finding the peace she had long sought. Mission accomplished. The ancestor beamed, watching Eric absorb the Queen's legendary power into his soul. That was way too hard, Eric complained. But the old man just laughed, hiding his genuine shock. A 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰𝑵 never backs down. If you can't handle this, don't even bother using our name. Secretly, the ancestor was floored. He expected this to take years, not a mere handful of weeks. A novice who just started magic a month ago defeated a legend? This kid was absolutely monstrous. Is he using cheats? The ancestor yelled internally. Eric just waved goodbye, ready to leave the peaks. But how to get out? The ancestor helped by blasting him straight out of the dimension. That crazy old man. Eric cursed. Meanwhile, a lingering mystery remained about 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰 and the Queen. Why did 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑽 reject her? Eric confronted the Demon King, who started sweating bullets under the glare. Eric had seen the truth in the Queen's memories. 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑽 had been bored and went looking for entertainment. She had the skill, but her heart was missing something, 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑽 explained, trying to sound cool. I told her to get stronger and find me later. Little did he know, her journey would end here, departing the Frost Peak. But dangers lurked ahead. True power awakens as the ice crystal, winter's core, finally manifests. Deep within eternal snow, this egg of God awaits its master. To locate the deity, Eric must reach the fabled Flower Temple. Myths become reality as royal records confirm the temple's hidden location. Is 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑽 plotting something? This sudden kindness feels like a trap. As Eric grows stronger, his spirit companion's aura evolves in tandem. Eric dominates him easily. Meanwhile, a blue-haired lady faces certain death. Assassins strike. Her guards fall, leaving her alone in the frost. The Green Lion's daughter cannot fall in this desolate, frozen wasteland. Born without talent, weak Isabelle is a disgrace to her clan. Despised by all, she carries the burden of her family's shame. Her father protected her, but the family legacy remains a curse. Tragedy strikes. The clan leader falls to a mysterious mana blockage. Reckless aura use has ravaged his body, draining his life force. Without a miracle, his muscles will soon wither into nothingness forever. Isabelle searched for ancient artifacts, but every attempt ended in failure. In despair, she heard rumors of the Snow King's legendary tomb. Hoping for a cure, she risked everything to find the treasure. But her greedy Uncle Paul orchestrated a cold-blooded, deadly betrayal. Assassins were dispatched to eliminate the rightful heir once and for all. Her bodyguard fell, leaving Isabelle defenseless against the approaching shadows. She stepped forward to die, protecting her people until the end. Suddenly, our hero appears. He moves to save the tragic beauty. He tries a cool entrance, but slips and fails miserably instead. Isabelle recognizes him. She begs the weak wanderer to escape immediately. The assassins laugh, unaware they've provoked a literal god of war. Eric unleashes storm magic. The enemies are instantly wiped from existence. Glacial blades pierce the night, slaughtering the remaining fools in seconds. The leader trembles. Do you realize whose blood you've just spilled? He strikes with speed, but Eric counters his every pathetic move. One thrust ends it. The survivors watch Eric with pure terror. Savior or monster? They dare not lower their guard around him. Isabelle kneels in gratitude, asking her mysterious savior for a favor. Offering a golden seal, she finally reveals her true royal identity. The scentless flower, a beauty once rejected by the crown prince. Cast aside for having zero talent, she lives as a ghost. She begs Eric to escort her back to the distant capital. Eric recalls the rumors of her father's incurable, deadly sickness. If he cures the lion, his own family's glory returns. A wicked grin spreads. He accepts the quest with hidden intent. Melfi is confused. Why accept a lowly escort job for gold? He grants Eric telepathy to keep their conversations a dark secret. Paul receives word of the massacre. His rage burns like hellfire. He executes the messenger. Isabel is walking straight into a trap. Captain Hyun of the Blue Wolves has been dispatched. Their mission? A cold-blooded assassination. They reached Le Center, but realized the killers had already set a deadly, inevitable trap. As they prepared to retreat, Eric smirked. He unleashed a powerful, high-level disguise magic. This hypnosis-like veil allowed them to slip past, but any sudden shock could shatter it. Nephi sensed something strange. These assassins possessed a mysterious energy very similar to mana. That is aura, the power of martial masters. Unlike mages who use heart-based mana circles, warriors condense aura chains around their dantian. It is a completely different path of power. A 7-circle mage is an archmage, but warriors follow 5 distinct stages of mastery. From entry to master, only one man has ever surpassed 5 chains: the Lion King. This monster is the continent's strongest, once rivaling my grandfather, the legendary 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰𝑵𝑪. Nephi felt a thrill. This hidden world of power was exactly what he sought. Eric gathered a month of intel. The Nariter family had turned the hospital into a fortress. After exposing the Dragon's Den, the Academy elders were now locked in a fierce power struggle. With the media on his side, the principal candidate gained a massive lead over his rivals. That bald fox wants the Dragon's Den excavation rights just to win the upcoming election. He's squeezing Sin, making it look like he betrayed the Academy's high-ranking senior professors. While his sister torments him, Eric silently crafts a cold plan for the ultimate revenge. Suddenly, the Blue Wolves' 3rd team launched a brutal, heartless assault on Isabel's location. They showed no mercy. Fire rained down, turning the peaceful town into a living hell. Innocent blood spilled just to flush out one girl. Isabel watched in pure, agonizing despair. She lacked the strength to save them. She was tired of running and living in shame. Drawing her sword, she prepared for a final, suicidal charge against these cold-blooded killers. Suddenly, the flames vanished. Eric's ice magic froze the very air. He was truly enraged. These so-called knights were nothing but common murderers. Their honor was a total joke. Eric's monstrous mana exploded. He would make them pay for this tragedy with their lives. The captains trembled. This pressure, it was unlike anything they had ever felt before. They didn't recognize him, but his overwhelming mana made their very souls shake with terror. "Kill the girl and run!" they screamed. Eric grabbed Isabel, moving to a secluded battlefield. Facing 40 elites, he led them away to ensure no more civilians caught a stray bullet. He hid Isabel and turned, wearing a villainous smile. "Did you dogs forget your place?" They charged like beasts. Eric had drained his mana to save the city from the fire. His dragon mana had surged, but his human vessel was screaming under the immense pressure. To survive, he had to take down their commander first. But these dogs could bite. A captain mocked him. A mage daring to fight in close quarters? How utterly foolish. They pinned him against the wall, thinking the hunt was over. But it was a trap. A massive magic circle ignited. Eric's eyes glowed with the cold light of the Reaper. With a deafening boom, absolute frost erupted. The entire squad was turned into ice statues. Before he could finish the leader, the second captain intervened. Reinforcements flooded the area. Eric just laughed. He had known they were hiding in the shadows all along. The captain offered a deal: give up the girl and live. He clearly misunderstood the situation. Eric held all the cards. As they lunged forward, he felt his true power awakening. He noticed his non-ice spells were weakened by the seal, but his frost was different. He combined ice with haste, launching a barrage of crystalline shards at lightning speed. One touch meant instant frozen death. They had never seen such high-level, cursed ice magic. "This," Eric whispered. "It's just a tiny curse I added to my frost." The captain thought he'd arrive in time, but Eric sent his squad to hell before they could even blink. A few survivors escaped the frost to warn the third captain, but the arrogant fool didn't even care. He wielded a Tier 6 fire spell, ready to sacrifice his own men to burn the city to ashes. Unbeknownst to them, Eric heard everything. Just as the massive fire circle began to ignite, Eric struck. Isabel's blade severed the villain's arm, while Eric's frost magic turned him into an ice statue. "Two more left," he spat. The city was seconds away from being erased by their hidden magic circles. Little did he know, Eric had already neutralized his comrades. Desperate, the villain begged the lady for mercy. "Forgive me. We only meant to escort you to Lord Paul Villa," he cried, desperate to save himself. "Don't you dare tarnish the Villa name again," Isabel hissed, ending his pathetic life with a single strike. They spared one survivor to deliver a message. Paul would never become the next Green Lion leader. Their next destination, Gasnoy. There, her father's influence remained strong enough to build a new future. With her father's allies waiting, the Blue Wolves wouldn't dare attack. Yet her father remained in a coma. She hesitated to ask Eric for more help, feeling she'd already burdened her savior far too much already. Suddenly, Eric handed over a stack of documents, the legendary cure for her father's mana congestion illness. She was stunned. It was time for Eric to reveal his true identity, the Starlight Duke of House 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰𝑵. Having survived the same mana illness himself, Eric provided the secret recipe Isabel desperately needed to save him. Tears flowed freely as Isabel accepted this kindness. To the people, Eric was now a legendary true hero. With great power comes the weight of responsibility. That is the mark of a true, invincible, legendary hero. Returning to the capital, rumors of the Phantom Mage of La Center spread like wildfire through the streets. Isabel was the mastermind behind the rumors, crafting Eric's legendary reputation to build his political influence. His soaring fame began crushing Uncle Paul's ambitions, giving Isabel the leverage she needed to finally strike back. However, dating rumors soon followed. All the scandal, but none of the romance? What a total ripoff. The public loved a hero story, but they loved a secret romance even more than a bloody battle. Fame is fame, Eric sighed, wishing he had Isabel's sharp business mind for his own family's grand revival. Suddenly, a warning from 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰𝑵. An intruder smashed through the tavern, fueled by pure, unadulterated rage and fury. It was Zindang. He was fuming that Eric was out dating beauties while he took all the heat. "Do you know what I suffered because of you? You owe me a serious apology and a punch." After their rowdy reunion, the focus shifted to the election of Yusuron Academy's next powerful headmaster position. This wasn't just a teaching job. The headmaster held power that could shake the very foundations of the empire. Ranking alongside a marquis, the position influenced both the arcane arts and the highest levels of imperial politics. They stood equal to the Sagram Tower Master and the Imperial Knight Captain. Truly a Titan's throne indeed. On election day, the candidates gathered. "Thank you for coming. We choose the future of our academy today." Barbara stepped up, arrogantly claiming credit for the Jade Dragon discovery as if he were the sole hero. "Vote for me, and I will build a system to uncover even more legendary treasures and ancient artifacts." He began his speech early, preening before the crowd while the other candidates were nowhere to be seen. Suddenly, Zindang's sister appeared, representing her prestigious family. The corrupt elders couldn't say a single word. Barbara was smug, confident his bribes had already secured victory. Then, the heavy doors swung wide open. Eric entered, revealing himself as the Starlight Duke of House 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰𝑵 and a primary elector for the vote. The hall erupted in chaos. The Duke? Isn't he supposed to be in a deep, eternal coma? How dare a lowly intern disrupt this sacred ceremony? The corrupt officials shouted in total, panicked disbelief. Eric's aura exploded, crushing their spirits instantly. "I am no longer an intern. I stand here as Duke. With cold authority," he declared. "I hereby disqualify Barbara. He is unfit to lead this prestigious magical institution." The charge? The attempted assassination of a High Duke of the Empire, namely, myself, the Starlight Duke. The old man trembled but bluffed, demanding proof of such a crime. He thought his secrets were safe. Eric pulled out a recording orb, playing the villain's secret conspiracies for the entire world to witness. Director Para wasn't aiding Neriaster's grand discovery, on the contrary. The old fox harbored a sinister agenda. He plotted to eliminate me and seize my family heirloom. He realized that Crystal Ball was his. Gift to the rival, ordered to kill me in the dragon's lair. How did I obtain it? By law, dragon dens belong to the first discoverer. Yet, Director Para illegally seized the mining rights. Thus, he isn't just guilty of plotting a duke's assassination, he is a thief who bypassed the law. He tried to steal the Mubanger legacy and the dragon's hoard. I demand his candidacy be revoked. I demand ultimate punishment for his crimes. Suddenly, the Academy Board began to turn their backs. Without those mining rights, the old man was nothing but a useless, pathetic pawn to them. Para's face went pale. He wasn't just losing his position, his very head was on the chopping block. He looked to his ally, Lazuli, but she stood by my side. She was our undercover agent. The old man finally realized he'd walked into Eric's trap. A new principal was finally chosen. It wasn't Para. Eric used telepathy to mock him, driving the old fox into a murderous rage. The level 7 mage snapped. He unleashed a devastating sneak attack, but Eric blocked it effortlessly. The truth was out. Eric was the mysterious powerhouse from the Lecenter battle. The failure was godlike. Para launched another desperate strike, but his path was suddenly blocked by a terrifying presence. Tassa, the continent's youngest level 7 genius, stepped in. Her sheer power made the air tremble. The tide had turned. Para was now branded a terrorist, a traitor who would face divine retribution. While Para was dragged away, Eric faked an injury to play the victim. Justice was finally served. News spread like wildfire. The disgrace of the 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰𝑵 family had returned as a legendary master. He was the hero who saved Lecenter. The 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰𝑵 name was being restored to its former glory. A true legend had emerged from the shadows. The media couldn't stop talking about his miraculous rise. You used some dirty tricks and became a legend. Where did you learn to fight like that? My friend Shin mentioned his father wanted to meet. He is one of the realm's strongest. A level 9 archmage and the true lord of Nerister. The absolute master of the magic tower. Even my own grandfather wanted him as a mentor. He is a genius among geniuses. Truly divine. Stepping into Shin's estate, Eric was stunned. This wasn't a house, it was a sprawling, golden fortress. Shin was a literal silver spoon elite. He then handed Eric a letter from his terrifying older sister. Eric's face went white. He knew a brutal lesson was coming for all the chaos he caused. As Shin complained about his sister's cruelty, Tassa appeared behind him like a ghost. He was doomed. This path is riddled with lethal traps. One wrong step and you're dead. Stay close to us. The atmosphere grew heavy. Don't let your guard down for a second. Follow our footsteps exactly. This area was a labyrinth. Even a sixth circle mage couldn't hope to find the exit alone. Before the warning ended, Eric vanished. He found himself trapped in a void of total darkness. Even 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰𝑵's presence was gone. Ahead, a monstrous surge of mana erupted. Is Nerister this powerful? Primal elements flooded the space, some crashing like waves, others as sharp as divine blades. The pressure was suffocating. These chaotic elements had nothing in common, yet they coexisted in harmony. They merged perfectly through the element of wind. Eric realized. He could make this power his own. Suddenly, a cold, booming voice echoed through the void, chilling him to the very bone. Stealing a peek at another's magic is a sin punishable by death. Prepare to meet your end. The creator of this realm was at least a level 7 master. Eric had to escape now. He activated his ultimate stealth, magic, and vanished. Not even the master of space could see him. Using the mystical mist of the formation, he slipped through the cracks of the barrier. Meanwhile, Isabel finally awakened her father. The Blue Lion's terminal illness was completely purged. He wanted to thank Eric, but his treacherous brother had other plans. A dark plot brewed. He ordered the Blue Wolf to assassinate Eric. Meanwhile, Demon King 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰𝑵 hungered for more power. He sensed a monstrous pressure. Could a mere human possess such overwhelming power? The feast was ready. A banquet awaited our hero. The children cheered for the savior of Lecenter, now a legendary figure. It mirrored the warmth of his lost family. Suddenly, the patriarch asked, "Do you despise me?" The fall of the 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰𝑵 clan was a mystery. How could a 1,000-year-old lineage vanish overnight? Crushed by the royals and manipulated by the 6 hexagrams, their legacy was erased by political schemes. Betrayed by allies, the Nedister family stood by, watching the 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰𝑵ers burn without lifting a finger. The patriarch offered a deal. Name your price. The Nedister clan would now provide total support. Consider it a gift and your right to explore, my boy. This was a turning point. With Nedister's backing, the dream of restoration was alive. But then, a sudden ambush shattered the peace. The Master of Space reappeared. He did not come to fight, but to demand Eric become his disciple. The main house was filled with guests, yet the true power lay hidden within the Elder Council. In that den of monsters stood the Grandmaster, the one who forged the strongest Nedister mages. White Knight Augustin had arrived. His presence alone commanded the very fabric of reality and magic. He was far stronger than Patriarch Hui, Yet Eric gave a shocking answer. A direct refusal. A 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰𝑵𝑪 serving a netister master? I am not worthy of such an offer, great one. Withdraw your request. Weren't you trained in the blue mist arts? The old man's eyes narrowed. It was just a survival trick. Suddenly, the master forcibly seized Eric's mana with terrifying ease. A shockwave of power erupted, knocking Eric unconscious instantly. Was this the true speed of a master? Captured. But Eric had planned for this. He woke up gasping, nearly jumping out of his skin. It was a dangerous gamble to exploit the Grandmaster's interest. He needed the netister's ultimate teachings. He played hard to get, but the old man chose kidnapping instead. Talk about an aggressive recruitment. His mana was sealed tight. Without warning, the old geezer kicked him right into the abyss. Death was certain, until 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰𝑵𝑪 screamed to use the atmospheric mana. Eric focused, barely avoiding a splat. He was trapped in the blue mist labyrinth with 0 mana. The ultimate survival test had begun. I cannot teach you the netister secrets, even as the head of the elders, the master declared. That forbidden magic is reserved for a single bloodline. But there is another way for you. The name Westland left Eric speechless. That ancient, legendary school was still active in the shadows? The Westerners are persistent bastards. They do not use typical magic, they use something far more primal. Magic, martial arts. They use the flow of mana to turn their bodies into living divine weapons. Westland's style harmonizes different energies, making it perfect to stabilize Eric's chaotic, broken internal mana. Warning: this is crying wolf territory. These beasts are triple the size of any normal predator. Westland arts are forged in blood and experience. Live or die, the master's voice echoed away. The wolves lunged, eyes glowing with hunger. No mana? No problem. Eric's resolve was absolute. He smashed skulls with raw rocks, but the pack was endless. Another beast leaped from the shadows. The killer wolves grew cautious. Eric's breath hitched. His physical limits were being pushed to the brink. If only he had trained his body more on the snowy peaks. Then, a memory flickered. The Tiger King's body-strengthening art. A secret technique to turn flesh and bone into indestructible steel. It promised explosive power and taught the true path of the warrior through primal instinct and flow. Breathing matched the rhythm of nature. Blood surged like a river, awakening every dormant cell within him. The body evolves through thought and breath. It unlocks the subconscious, revealing the ultimate primal instinct. Eric's body moved on its own pure intuition. The tiger's claw style was finally unleashed. Even 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰𝑵 was terrified. Eric was no longer human. He was a beast hunting its prey. Victory! Bloodied and exhausted, Eric stood tall. The master watched from above with a cryptic hint. Collect the moss from the shadows. To do that, Eric had to slaughter every wolf remaining. He did not flinch. The slaughter began. Soon, the field was silent, and 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰𝑵 spoke in awe. Eric recognized the sinister flora, the resurrection grass of the underworld. It offered more than mere healing. It would fortify his crumbling seal. A rare chance, despite the old man's reckless gamble with his life. Yet, the danger bore fruit. His seal's resistance surged, and his energy reserves were finally overflowing once again. With the body-strengthening art mastered, playtime was over. It was time to slay the dire Wolf King. Suddenly, a massive tiger emerged alongside a mysterious elder. The old man watched Eric's performance in pure awe. He immediately demanded Eric become his disciple. But first, the final dire wolf had to be dealt with. The white-bearded master descended, shouting in fury. "I found this brat first. Don't you dare steal him." The two legends began bickering like children. "Do you have any idea how hard I worked to find him? You slaughtered my wolves," the Beast King roared. Surprisingly, Eric gave the legendary figure a cold rejection. But the promise of a beast control technique changed everything. Eric's attitude flipped 180 degrees instantly. Having two masters wasn't so bad. However, the final dire wolf still stood in his path, snarling. Before the master could even explain the beast's power, Eric ended the fight in a single heartbeat. Whitebeard then led him to the Temple of Shadows. 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰𝑵 was stunned to find a demonic domain here. The underworld's resurrection grass grew here in abundance. This was the forbidden territory of a true monster. The master began the tale. The founder was an alchemist, seeking herbs across the vast eastern lands. Tragedy struck when he lost his family to a demon king. He chased the bastard across the continent for revenge. To defeat the darkness, he changed his path. He fused forbidden Eastern arts with Western magic's destructive force. He even absorbed demonic power to transcend humanity. A war that raged for over 1,000 years. That ancient conflict finally ended, and the one who brought the conclusion was Eric's master himself. The power to slay a demon king is incomprehensible. The true victor of that battle remained a mystery. I will determine the true winner through my disciple, the old man declared with a sharp, piercing gaze. The demon king remained sealed. Eric would be the one to inherit the power to destroy it forever. By utilizing his devil-devouring power, Eric would shatter the seal. But the boy remained highly cautious. How did this old man know his family's darkest secret? Every mage guards their hidden arts with their life. To prove his sincerity, the master revealed a shocking truth. He bared a withered, dark elf arm. Unlike their forest-dwelling kin, dark elves were subterranean outcasts, worshippers of the primordial devil. The Empire had hunted them to extinction. Aside from the master, this secret was buried in time. Now we both hold each other's lives, he whispered. Eric finally accepted his path as a disciple. His target was the Demon King's seal, a presence far more terrifying than the Snow Mountain King. Yet, Eric had no idea how to enter the sealed space. His necklace remained cold and silent. Desperate, Eric combined his spirit absorption with the seal. Suddenly, the ancient monster reacted with a roar. Eric's consciousness plunged into the beast's mental realm. He found himself standing in a desolate swamp. The frenzied beast loomed behind him, its massive jaws dripping with malice. Eric froze in pure terror. He calculated every move to survive. The beast recognized the mark of 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰𝑵 on Eric's trembling hand. It peered directly into Eric's soul, reading his power. The young warrior's mind descended into total chaos. A mere human? No, you are a worthy vessel, it hissed. Child of the Harbinger, keep hungering. We shall meet again. A new, cursed seal burned itself into Eric's flesh. Eric snapped back to reality, gasping for air. Was claiming an ancient seal supposed to be this easy? 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰 explained the beast was at its limit. It had no choice but to find a host. The master revealed the true name. You, the evil god of malice. A creature born from hungry ghosts. These bottom feeders of the demon realm live in constant fear, driven by an eternal, agonizing hunger. That greed is their survival. By possessing 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰's seal, Eric would gain the instincts of a predator. He could now sense danger and exploit enemy weaknesses instantly. It was a power tailored for combat. The sixth sense had awakened. His heart hammered as his mana circulated with a violent, new rhythm. The hungry ghost sense was his. The final seal of the chronicle was finally within his grasp. Eric focused on honing his ghoul senses and upgrading the seal, preparing for the ultimate clash with evil. But just as battle loomed, his sister suddenly arrived, sending the fierce Tassa into a state of high alert. Tassa's warrior instincts flared. She was curious to see the hidden strength of Eric's legendary older sister. Tension hung heavy in the air. Tassa demanded proof that she truly belonged to the prestigious Starlight family. Defeat me in a magic duel. Then I'll believe you, Tassa challenged. But Eric's sister had other plans. Despite lacking magic, her spirit chi was monstrous as she unleashed a colossal hammer with terrifying, blinding speed. To everyone's shock, this member of a mage lineage was actually a peerless master of the martial arts. She swung the 100-kilogram hammer effortlessly, as if it were a feather, without even using her chi. Tassa spotted the black skull insignia. Was Eric's sister a high-ranking member of the world's strongest mercenary corps? Their bloodlust peaked as they prepared for a lethal showdown. But Eric stepped in to halt the chaos. His sister instantly grabbed him by the throat. "You're not escaping this time, you little brat," she roared. Eric received a legendary scolding. Being silent for 6 months had left his protective sister worried sick. Since their parents passed, she had been his sole guardian. Eric finally revealed the truth of his journey. He explained his secret mission and how his consciousness vanished within the dragon's cave during his awakening. Eric confessed his doubts about reviving their fallen family name, questioning if his struggle even had any meaning. The clan had crumbled, and he once believed that fleeing from destiny was the only way to survive. But after facing death, he realized the world was drowning in calamity, and he could no longer hide. To abandon the 𝑰𝑵𝑽𝑰 name would be a disgrace to the ancestors who bled for their very survival. His sister's anger vanished, replaced by pride, though she threatened to crush his legs if he vanished again. "My little brother has finally grown up," she sobbed. 3 months later, Eric's brutal training reached its peak. Under two legendary masters, his power exploded. He simultaneously mastered Heaven's Shadow Eye and his ghoul senses. From this moment on, only real-world slaughter could further sharpen his blades. It was time for Eric to depart. He bid his masters farewell, heading toward the frozen north to uncover the ancient secrets of his progenitor. Tassa was assigned to the Dragon Cave excavation, her eyes gleaming with the obsession of a true dragon fanatic. Eric hoped for a quiet departure, but his plans were ruined by a crowd of familiar, noisy faces. Even the two masters insisted on coming along, turning his dangerous mission into a chaotic family road trip. With his loyal companions by his side, Season 1 concludes. Thanks for watching, and remember to like.